Hey, good evening, everybody. This your boy Rod Thomas Jr. For y'all know me, real new behind new. We already did 2 videos, so y'all know the date and time. I got a few minutes, man, and I'm gonna try to keep this video under. I know for sure I'm gonna keep it under 10 because I gotta get back in there and finish painting this wall. But I made a video earlier, and in that video, I was saying I'm gonna just come out and bear the truth as I know it, as I feel about religion and how it's being used to keep us as black people some of the most gullible, docile, and enslaved people on the face of the planet. They ain't got to use whips and chains today. They using your Bible. They using Judaism. They using Islam. Those are religions. Black people are spiritual people. Now let me show you. I'm gonna go start out with a brief history lesson. Let me show you how the indoctrination is so complete and how they got you hating your original roots and you don't even know it. Look at National Geographic. You see them Africans over there from ancient times, tens of thousands of years. Them ancients, they playing them drums. They chanting. They talking to their creator in the universe. They're in tune. If you notice, all of them are doing the same thing. They're on the same step. It's perfect harmony. Next thing you know, that one elder come out, she take that chicken and she cut his throat. You have been brainwashed to say, that's evil, that's the devil. Them niggas going to hell. Jesus wouldn't do that. That's a lie. First of all, when you in church on Sunday morning, pastor eventually going to get to that one point where he going to say, wow, and the Lord is here. Next thing you know, you're going to hear that drum. Next thing you know, you're going to hear that piano. Next thing you know, you got Sister Mary Johnson jumping up, doing the same shit her ancestors did spiritually and naturally. But the white man told you when the black folks of Haiti, of Africa do it, it's voodoo. It's evil. It's not of God. But you in church doing, I've seen people in church, man, doing breakdancing. I see people in church right now doing a nay-nay. You have been taught a lie. You have been taught to hate spiritualism and embrace religion, which is meant to enslave you. Because religion is a set of rules, man-made rules. Because, wait a minute, it's 3 of y'all religions telling me your book is God's word. One of y'all lying, or maybe all 3 of y'all lying. Because I think all 3 of y'all lying, because the truth is, all of your doctrine, all of your writing, all of your texts come from writings that predated it by tens of thousands of years. They have stolen stories from other cultures, other races, other nationalities that preceded them by thousands of years, wrapped it up in a package, and now this is what they do with it. I'm going to give y'all a brief history. I got some wrote down. Again, I ain't going to try to be too long, but let me give y'all some. Especially Christianity. Christianity, believe it or not, didn't start with Jesus. Jesus was the figure that they attached to it. But it was those in power who realized that his message of love, peace, oneness with the Father, and that you don't need these fuckboy religious leaders who are nothing but than crooks and snakes teaching you lies. You have the power to get in touch with the Creator yourself. All you got to do is talk to him. So this is what happened. Christianity was built and based upon total enslavement. Go back to the earliest times of Christianity. How did it come so widely acceptable? The Romans. And what were the Romans doing? They were going around slaughtering and terrorizing and destroying everything in their path. So the Romans now incorporate Christianity, you know, for the reason of having people to voluntarily submit. Because they Christian people, they ain't really that violent. But again, they were some of the most violent motherfuckers in history. So now you got the Council of Nicaea, where the Roman Catholic Church takes over and dominates Christianity. They basically become the face, the voice, and the whole nine yards of Christianity. If you want to be Christian, you had to be Catholic. Basically, you had to submit to the Roman Catholic Church. How did they do that? By ignorance and enslaving the people, controlling the knowledge that they had. You keep them ignorant and depending on you to teach them what they believe you say God told you, they're going to look up to you. It's easy to control. It's easy to control the people with a religion than it is with guns. But then, let's fast forward a little bit. Now that the Romans has the Christianity indoctrination perfected, what do they commence to do? They commenced to go all out throughout the world to weaker people and inferior people. And the people of the ancient days say, whenever the missionaries come, they came with Jesus. And right after them came the military people. Because these Africans, these Asians, and these other people were listening to these missionaries like, man, you expect me to believe that shit? Wait a minute. So you saying God came down here and they put him on a tree and he died? And if I don't believe that, he gonna kill me? They said, not only if you don't believe that, I'm gonna kill you. They took the Bible, they took Christianity everywhere they went to inferior nations, and they took guns and weapons with them. Because if you don't believe that Jesus loves you, I'm gonna shoot you in your head. I'm gonna send you to meet him. You see what I'm saying? This is where the enslavement indoctrination of Christianity comes in. The Anglo-Christians at that time use Christianity, go out throughout the rest of the world and say, God has given us this divine right to come to your country and save you from your sin. And while we doing that, don't look over here because we finna rob you of your diamonds. We finna enslave your children. We finna rape your daughter. We finna take your gold. Y'all don't need it. Y'all don't need it. Y'all just making necklaces. But God need this money. Let me jump on. Wait a minute. The God that religions teach us, he got to be irresponsible financially, because why is it there every church, every Sunday you go to church, he need $10 more. He need 10% more of your money, but yet still he owns all this? That's part of the game. Mental, financial, physical, slavery, bondage, and servitude. Now I know a lot of Christians finna get mad, and I'm not trying to offend y'all deliberately, but we sitting around here, man, wondering why our neighborhood is so screwed up, wondering why there's so much crime, violence, poverty, misery. It's because we are waiting on that Jesus that the slave masters taught us about for 400 years to come and save us and take the wheel of the car. But it was that same Jesus that had the wheel of the slave ship Jesus that brought the first slaves over here. Involuntarily. Now let's go back again to captivity and how it's used at bondage. They came over here, say God told us to come to the new world. They ran up on the Indian. The Indians was like cool, they trust them. But the Indians like, yeah, man, we can drink a little wine. I'll show you how to grow some of these corn, man. But I ain't trying to hear that stuff. We got our own gods, and he been doing fine for us. Evidently, our God's so smart, we know how to grow this corn, y'all don't. Now I'm going to give y'all a little more history. The first Thanksgiving, they tell you because they gave thanks to God. They were so happy that the Indians saved them. No. The first Thanksgiving, I think, happened in October 16 something. And they weren't giving thanks to God for helping them with the crops. They were actually giving thanks and having celebration on that day for them literally massacring over 10 to 15,000 Indians and, wiping that population out in the region that they were. And that's how they was allowed to build the East Coast and the foundation of this country. The Indians were the first people that they murdered here in America on a mass scale. And then not only did that, they said, God, now give us divine destiny, manifest destiny. Troy Jones, you can have an input. Go ahead. I'm reading it, but I'm gonna be real. If you're gonna input, let's not just quote scriptures. Let's quote historical facts, which in most cases does not line up with the scriptures as the way it is being taught. Because Christianity is the most oppressive religion. It was built upon, and needs slaves, servitude. Your pastor, when you go to church on Sundays, why you think your pastor is more, I guess, blessed than you? Because he's actually the new house Negro. He is the one that would have been in there, say, Master, Jesus told me you need a little cube of ice in your water, so I'm going to go out there and get it. You know what I'm saying? All through your life, man, all through our time in America, they used Jesus to get that one Negro who was the most gullible, but who everybody respected. They taught him the religion, but guess what? They wouldn't even let him read the shit. They wouldn't even let him read the book. But they'll teach him, this is what Jesus said. I'll be like, well, can I read? No, you can't read. Just trust me. Yes, sir, I trust you. I believe Jesus. Yeah, Jesus wants us to be out here 180 degrees weather talking about, Lord, don't move this mountain. No, that's not God's will for any man. But again, let me go back to the history lesson, because I got to go. Christianity was built upon the principles of slavery, mental, physical, emotional, and financially. Notice I ain't say spiritually, because Christianity, Judaism, and Islam has nothing to do with spiritualism. It's all about rules and regulation. What this pastor up here tell you, God told you you can and you cannot do. And if you do anything, God is going to send you to hell. Well, wait a minute, God. If having sex with all these women is wrong, why did you make it feel so good? Why? You maybe like it, and now when I do it, you tell me I'm going to hell. I mean, come on. You put me in a bad situation and go, oh, no, it ain't that. It's because the slave master said that God told him that so he can control how many people you populate the earth with. Everything that Christianity was built upon and designed to do was designed to keep the basic and average person dirt poor, uneducated, and ignorant, depending on the master for his substance, depending on the master for his teaching, and depending on the master to show him how to get to God when he died. But master is God here on earth and got his heaven right here. But we had to and still have to. We got to die before we go to heaven. Hold on. I just want to say before the Roman Catholic Church was called Christian, the Church of Antioch. But no, where did Christianity first start? What was the first name for those who called Christian, claim to be Christian? It was not Christian. And let me ask you another question, Troy. Jesus was not a Christian. What book did he read from? You saying the Bible is God's word, but Jesus didn't quote nothing from the Bible because the Bible did not even exist in his time. So the word Christianity eventually came because they needed to link their slavery indoctrination to a figure that people would follow and blindly. Kennedy say, ugly God puts things in front of us so we can make the right decision. Are you kidding? That's temptation. I mean, that don't make no sense because you are born with the ability to make the right decision. Your mother and father teaches you the right decision. So now you're saying, I got to trust somebody that he told me lives up in the sky. He told him that last night he had a dream and God told him, this is what you can't do. Now, I'm not buying it because inherently, inside every human being, God blessed us with a spiritual nature to know right from wrong. I believe that God puts things in front of us in order to make decisions. He will place things in front of you to look good. Then that's an evil God to put crack in front of crack at. That's a cruel God who's playing a cruel trick on why would you do that to somebody that you know is going to fall vulnerable to it every time? That don't make sense, man. No, you make those choices because you want to. The devil don't make you do it, and God don't make you do it. You make choices because it's based upon your fleshly desire. But let's get back to the point. How does that, what you guys are saying, how does that equate to the tens of millions of people in the last 1,000 years that Christianity is responsible for slaughtering or enslaving? Telling you that if you don't believe this Jesus that I show you, not only am I going to punish you, but he going to kill you and send you to hell. That's fear, dog. That's extortion. That's intimidation. Really, it really should be a crime. Because you're basically forcing somebody to do what you want, even though you're psychologically doing it, you're not physically doing it, but even now they're physically doing it. Because if you don't follow the rules that they say God gave them that govern this land, they're going to put you in prison. And guess what? Slavery is still legal in prison. So again, you're dealing with a system of white supremacy that created this version of a religion to go along, colonize, and subjugate inferior nations and groups of people, saying that they're doing it in the name of God. Man, so you saying God is telling you to go over here and slaughter every innocent child. For what? Just because you don't like them? You don't like the fact that they African and they dance and they get in touch with the spirit that their ancestors worship? You don't like that, so you want me to go down there and kill every last one of them? That's not a good God, man. That's a dictator. That's a tyrant. That is not somebody who has the best interests of his people in mind. Because the true spirit of God promotes love, peace. Let me give you some real game, and I'm getting ready to end this. Going back to history. Do you understand how violent, and I mean, really, I'm just talking about your Old Testament, the God in the Old Testament was the most violent entity ever known to man. He was always demanding that something or somebody die so he can rest, so that he can be pleased. This is not a spiritual God. This sounds like this sounds like Hitler, Attila the Hun, Donald Trump, little cousin. No, you telling me that a God who is so loving and so pure would allow some people to come way from over the ocean, kidnap, murder, destroy, and rob tens of millions of people, also that they can build a kingdom here on earth? Now, we don't get away from the history because I'm going to bring it up to the day. Again, how we're sitting around here telling Jesus to take the wheel. But again, Jesus was the one who allowed that slave ship to carry our ancestors over here. And when that slave ship named what? Jesus. So along the way, they over here, they telling our people that God loves you and he put you in my care, you are my children. And now you see it today, whereas the chains have been physically taken off us, but they have put these preachers in our neighborhood who literally are, most of them, think about this, most of your preachers nowadays got degrees in psychology, so they know how to manipulate. They know how to take and twist the scriptures to use it to their advantage to keep people brainwashed, to manipulate them. Let me ask you a question. If there's only one Jesus, why is there 30 churches just on the Cooper Road? The most impoverished neighborhood in the city got 30 churches. So that means there's 30 preachers on the Cooper Road every Sunday preaching about one Jesus. Well, if they really had the best interests of God's people in mind, why don't they just get one church where all that's big enough to hold all their members, and they put everything in common, and they actually build back up the money that they raping and robbing out your community? How much money do you think these churches taking out the black community every Sunday? And how much do you actually think they put back a year? I'll leave that with you. So you mean tell me you got a $1 million church sitting in the middle of a poor, one of the poorest neighborhoods in America. Kind of looks like a third world country. But this big old beautiful cathedral is sitting right there in the middle. And the poor people who are out there hot and tired probably can even go in there and get a glass of water. So man, you got to understand, we have been brainwashed. Hey, new time, good ship. Exactly. That's that new slave ship, the church. They say Moses split the Red Sea. I split the blood and rolled the famine. I'm dead. Man, I'm keeping it real. How is it that all these big old beautiful cathedrals sitting in the middle of black communities that look like third world countries? The only time you see that pastor is on Wednesdays and Sundays. He might come up there every now and then. He coming up there to make his plans for his speech, maybe take care of his travel arrangement for his $500 speaking engagement he got at another church. And then Sister Johnson come in and say, well, Pastor, I ain't gonna have my tithes this week because my check wasn't but $122, and I got just enough to pay them tithes and have $3. And Pastor gonna tell Sister Johnson, well, Sister Johnson, you know you gotta pay them tithes. You just gotta trust Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You pay your tithes and offering, and I guarantee you, God gonna bless you. I'm like, what? He just blessed me. He gave me the money to go pay my shit now. So guess what's gonna happen 2 days from now when my lights cut off and I come and say, God told me to ask you, Pastor, for the money to get my light turned back. Well, I gotta talk with the deacon board. I gotta talk with the ushers. I gotta talk with that nigga up the street that worked at the Circle K. See if he can. But we gonna get back with you. You see what I'm saying? Man, ain't nobody trying to hear that game. That's game, cuz. Why is it that you got one pastor on the Cooper Road? I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't gonna call no name, but y'all don't know. I'm hoping he watching. You got one pastor on the Cooper Road that got 2 cars that cost more than the yearly income of, let's say, 100 people on the Cooper Road. And they steadily running up there buying a car. I say, one day I keep paying my tithe, Pastor, I'm going to get a car just like you. Negro, you could have had that car 2 years ago if you wasn't paying for his. But he has so much gain that he got you paying for his car, and you got to call at 6:30 on Sunday morning to try to get the church birds to get you over there at church for 10 o'clock. And then go in there and try to, let your electric bill get cut off. If Pastor really cares about you, can you actually go to your pastor's house, you and your kid, and sleep in his house until you get the money to get your electric bill cut back off? I don't think so. It's game. It's a hustle. It's mental, physical, and financial enslavement. We sitting around here talking about, Lord, help us, Jesus. It got to get better. It's not going to get better as long as you keep calling on a fictional character that they gave you to enslave you in his name. Everywhere these folk went with Christianity, guess what? The population suffered death, destruction, famine, disease, because this is their nature. This is how they control you. They control what you hear through your emotions. Because this religion, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, first of all, it ain't of God because it's divisive. God said he wanted to be everybody to be on one accord. Even in Christianity, Methodists can't even worship with Baptists. Baptists won't even sit in the same room with Pentecostal. Pentecostal believe if you don't speak in tongue, you going to hell. You nigga got so much division amongst yourselves as a religion. How are you going to do any good for the black community? When you won't even sit down at the table, really. Most of you won't even sit down with a table. They're Muslim because he going to hell because he don't believe what you believe. And in his eye, you are infidel. So all y'all really want to kill each other, but you want the killing on the streets to stop. So if you really want the killing to stop, first of all, let's break this mental slavery. Let's start holding these preachers accountable. They taking all this money out your neighborhood, and soon as you need something done in your neighborhood and it don't get done, soon as somebody get killed, you want to blame the politicians, you want to blame politically, you want to blame everybody except the person who you see in your hood every week. The person who has the ability to unite the whole Christian community in that community and come out and actually make a change in the street. But you don't know why? I'm going to tell you this with the Shreveport, and I got to go, man. Why it ain't happening in Shreveport, why these preachers are so null and void, non-effective, and cannot help you? Because most of them are homosexual. Most of them are pedophiles. A lot of them on drugs, a lot of them on alcohol, a lot of them got illegitimate children. Some of them got diseases for prostitution. And they have criminal charges on books that they just happen to let slide. Because guess what happens? As soon as you step out of line, boy, and try to do something other than keep this indoctrination going so y'all can make this money, we going to deal with you. Half your preachers here cannot help you because they are bigger sinners than me. And I know I sin a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. You're being held captive still today by white supremacy through your religion. Because your religion was given to you by a bunch of white folk that took your original religion from you and did not allow you to read their book. Because once you start reading that shit, you're like, man, that shit don't sound right. You know what I'm saying? I got to get this dude 10% of my money every day, and all he do is sit at the house and, talk to my wife while I'm at work and try to comfort her. Do you need me to come over there, Sister Thomas? We can have a special prayer session. And some of these women are so nice. Yes, Pastor. And then Pastor going to say, well, I got to do the Lord work. He needs me to cleanse your body. Next thing you know, your wife sitting up there headboard doing like this. And then you got to go sit up there Sunday and look at this man who's molesting your child. Look at this man who's robbing you blind, who cares nothing about your neighborhood. Because if they did, the pastors who are supposed to be the most powerful entity in your community should have some kind of influence on what's going on in your community. But they don't. But guess what? They ain't living in the places where niggas getting shot. They not. They living on the lake in a $500,000 home. They only come to your neighborhood on Sundays and Wednesdays when they need to pick up some money. That's the biggest pimp game I've ever seen. And it's the biggest hustle and con that I've ever seen in the history of mankind. Nobody has ever seen a bigger hustle or con as far as organized religion, because it's organized for a reason. The organization of religion is meant to keep you enslaved in servitude, because you better not challenge pastor. Oh no, pastor the only one that hears from God. So why is it that pastor can hear from God at night? He can go pray to God and God answer him. I got a revelation. But when I go pray to God and God answer me, hold on, son, you might be deceived because you ain't been coming to church and paying your tithe and offering faithfully. You haven't been, working on the usher board faithfully. So that might not be God's voice. So you said that was God's voice that told you last night that I will be a special blessing. I will give you $100. Nigga, what God is that? The God of drunk crack addicts? Because the God I believe didn't tell me nothing like that. I think he would have told me that I need to give you $100 before he told me. But you have black folks fall for that every day. Now your neighborhoods are poor because your churches are draining more money out of your neighborhood than these Arabs. We complain about these people taking money out of the neighborhood. Look at these churches, how much money they take out every Sunday. And guess where that money goes? To a white bank on Monday that you can't even go get a loan for. You can't even go back to the same bank that pastor, the secretary just dropped off the Sunday tithes and receipt. You can't go to that bank Monday and get a loan. But at the same time, when pastor ready to build a bigger church, he going to see if you want to put your good credit as a cosign on that church. So we going to get the best house of God. Amen. God got a house, on every block now. Where he really stay at? It's a hustle. It's a game. And what's so killing about it? Black pastors, not all of them, don't get me wrong, I'm not condemning all black pastors because some of them got a good heart, but black pastors, majority of them now, are the new house niggas. And their job is to keep you ignorant of your spirituality. Again, is to enslave you and empower themselves. Which say, Danny, sow a seed so God can give you 100-fold. Yeah, and you got niggas, man, that been getting 10% seed since they was 12, trusting in God, and them niggas getting food stamps still today. And pastor got a $500,000 house on a lake, got a summer home up there in the country. And he said, and then what's this a killing part about, Danny? This is the real killing part. Negroes are so indoctrinated and so bamboozled by religion, especially Christianity, that Negroes feel like they pastor ain't good unless he driving a Bentley, unless he living 10 times better than him, unless his pastor, they pastor got $2,000 suits on. He ain't no good pastor. He ain't got but 6 members. But 9 times 10, that pastor with 6 members is really one of the pastors that you should be going to his church. Because if he's paying all these bills out of his pocket, and every week he come up short and offering $100, but that church still, that means that man he got a heart. The smaller churches are the ones that I trust. But these Negroes with 100,000 people, 10,000 people follow them on TV, and they selling books. Ain't they doing the same thing that Jesus went off on the scribes and Pharisees for? Hustling the people. Do y'all realize that they had ATMs, somewhat of ATM, when Jesus came in the temple and turned over the tables of the money chain? That's all it was. They were hustling. They selling birds and shit in the temple. Now they selling birds at church, chicken plates. I mean, come on, man. At what point are we going to stop being irresponsible and so apathetic that we're going to continue to wait for the same people who we know enslaved us and help create this situation of misery, poverty, and hopelessness to have a change of heart and say, hey, y'all, we really lied to y'all about Jesus. Y'all cool with us. No, that's not going to happen. They're going to continue to put you in the middle of these jungles and give you a false hope in heaven to keep you from getting up out that seat, out that pulpit, out them pews, and actually getting out here, challenging the system that created this religion that got you oppressed in the first place. Say this before I go. You ever notice Negroes talk about white supremacy? And I don't even respect religious people that talk about white supremacy because you have bought into their system. But niggas sitting around here, the white man is challenging, man, fuck them. They, man, this is a new day. We black people. But them same niggas will not go and do a damn thing to challenge the political power, the religious power that created this bullshit that we live in. But you kill each other. Let somebody step on your church shoe. You be ready to kill him. But the white man controls the finances that come into your neighborhood. He controls the economic flow. He controls your educational system. All of it set up to be subpar and inferior. And guess what? You gonna challenge him. I mean, you wondering why. We around here killing ourselves. We were taught that way. We were bred that way. And religion justifies it. Because you put any animal, you put any creature in cages or pens. And they got to fight for that one chicken wing. They're going to try to kill each other to get that chicken wing because everybody's hungry. Your religion did that, man. And for some reason, we love it. Because half of y'all going to be in church Sunday saying, Lord, forgive Robert Thomas for he just blasphemy on you. He just said that my pastor was a homosexual. 9 times 10, ma'am, if I say it, I got personal information. Then no, most of your pastors are homosexual. And if you look at the church now, 20 years ago, if you were gay, you came to church and you walked, hi sir, how you doing? You didn't nobody know it. Now these Negroes that came out the closet standing right there in the front yard in the parking lot at church. Hey girl, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Playing the piano. That nigga might be gay, but he can play that piano. Don't nobody say nothing about him. God gonna forgive him and work it out. Everything that's corrupt, everything that the world do, you can't tell the world from the church now. But most of y'all ladies coming to the church in the same dress you left the club with. Hey, I know I'm pissed off a lot of people, but listen, I don't give up. I don't care. I'm not trying to do it intentionally, but at some point, I'm not just going to keep blaming the politicians. I'm not going to keep blaming the gangbanger. I'm going to keep blaming where the people who the fault lies. And right now, your biggest culprit, your biggest enabler for poverty and destruction in the black community is your religious institution. Because they don't give a fuck about you. As long as they get what they want, Jesus happy. Rest of you niggas fight for it. Just come here Sunday. I'll keep telling you how you can get what I got. I get what I get what you got if I stop giving to you and I start doing for myself and my community. Instead of putting out more Roman sales, put out some real business churches. Because I know 10 of y'all on the Cooper Road can put together and create a business that'll actually hire 6-some people that ain't your kinfolk. Put them people to work. Do something for your community, man, instead of being a stooge for these people who put you in that position just so they can use you to control your people. Hypocrites.